Hey roomies, and welcome back to the Celebrity Room. So I just want to take the time to thank you guys so much. We recently reached 3,000 subscribers and it means the world to me, guys, because I've really been trying to work hard on these different videos. And I just want to thank the people that have subscribed, liked, and comment and share on all the different videos and shorts. I really appreciate it. And in today's video, we're going to talk about Raven. So as you know, Raven has been out there a lot more recently. She started a podcast with her wife. It's on YouTube. I watched a couple episodes. I remember I watched the one with the guy Corey, from That's the Raven, her little brother, his older brother. I forget his name, but he was actually the only black kid in the show Victorious. So if you guys didn't know, fun fact that they're brothers in real life. So he went on Raven's podcast and talked about his experience working on the Victorious set with Dan Schneider and with all the different child stars and stuff. And there's some other different interviews she did. She also addressed the comments about her saying that she wasn't black and things like that, but considers herself an American. You remember, Raven sometimes has some slip ups, but anyway, she had to address, her and her wife actually had to make a statement. They went and made a video statement because her wife has been receiving a lot of death threats due to a recent interview that went viral on Fanita's podcast. If you guys don't know Fanita, she's a huge TikTok star, hilarious girl that grew her following on TikTok and now has branched over into YouTube, and she has her own podcast as well. But this was her podcast, and Raven and her wife were a guest on there. And if you are in your mid-20s to early 30s and you were a huge fan of the Cheetah Girls like Fanita was, interviewing Raven's kind of like the peak of everything, because I love the Cheetah Girls. Back in the day in daycare, you used to pick what Cheetah Girl you're gonna be. And so her and Fanita started singing together. I think it was Strut. That was my song, so I would have been singing along too. And then Raven's wife was sitting there kind of just staring at them, and Fanita was just like, "You don't know this song? How you gonna be married to Raven and not know the Cheetah Girls?" So there's been some incidents where people feel like Raven's wife kind of shines down Raven's accomplishments when it comes to definitely the Cheetah Girls and the Disney stuff. She kind of sits there with a stoic face and kind of just is when Raven's having her shine moment. So she's been getting death threats because of that interview. And it's crazy because if you're such a fan of Raven, why would you be sending her wife death threats? Which is crazy to send any celebrity, death threats. But she really hasn't done anything horrible. She does not deserve this. So they had to go on Instagram and address it because it's really messing with her wife really bad. And Raven, as they said, was standing on business because of it. And you guys, don't do that. She, obviously Raven married her for a reason, and I'm sure, I guess, knowing the Cheetah Girls wasn't a requirement to marry Raven, so, but she definitely does not deserve to be having death threats. That's, scary to wake up to hundreds of messages like that. So, so I'm going to put the video clip in here of her addressing it. Please like and subscribe for more celebrity content, y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.
And stop with the death threats in her DMs. It is disrespectful to her and in turn disrespectful to me. Stop it.
It's really become wild. I hope to clear the air right now and letting you all know that I never have once said that I did not know who Raven was. I only ever said that I did not grow up watching That's So Raven. I did not watch her as a child. But since getting married and meeting her in 2015, I have seen the majority of her work. I've also been at a lot of this work. So backstage at The View, 25 words or less. The list goes on and on. I love That's So Raven. I think she should have won all the Emmys. I think my wife is endlessly talented. I support her beyond. She also just isn't Raven Symone to me. You guys must try and open your minds a little bit and understand there is more behind people that are celebrity. There is real life here. And that's why we're feeling inclined to address this, because I'm receiving so much hate for something that is really just a big spiral of internet misinformation.
And for all of the blue checks out there acting like trolls, sit down. Just thank you. No need.
Thank you, next.
Cheetah girls, here we go, gonna rock the world. Party cause you know the future's all yours. Dance to your feet, don't touch the floor. Celebrate the day you're waiting for. Party like you're ready for so much more. Do it like you know it's never been done. Do a little crazy, have too much fun. Today's the day, come on everyone. The party's just begun. I know you feeling it. Put your hands up if you feel. I'm feeling it, girl. You know you're feeling it. Yeah. And then I run up the stairs and I'm like extremely out of breath. Yeah.
Okay, so
You know I've never done a concert like that before.
wait, I was just about to say, Fanita, you need to know that clearly Raven likes you, because the fact that she just did that is wild. I am mind blown. I also have FOMO that I don't know what the hell you guys were just singing, number one, number two, whatever. But that's crazy, babe.
The time has come for us to talk about Raven Symone and her wife. By now, you probably saw this video of Raven and her wife asking people to stop sending Miranda death threats. Okay, off top, death threats, not cool. It's whack. It's not that serious. But let me just say how this couple, the problem with this couple. First of all, I have no idea why Raven cannot do a podcast without her wife. The podcast she does usually talks about Raven's career or, you know, growing up famous, being a child actor. Why Miranda needs to be around for that conversation, I don't know, because she never has anything to contribute to that conversation, rightfully so, right? She is not a child actor. She is not famous. She's not in the industry. Like, why is she there? Secondly, this couple has made it their entire identity that Miranda didn't know anything about Raven Symone before she met her. She never watched That's So Raven. She never watched Cheetah Girls. Probably doesn't even know Raven Symone was in Dr. Dolittle. The last podcast, oh, I don't remember you in Xenon. This is a theme we constantly have to hear about. And now the people are finally fed up with that. They're finally like, girl, what? Because let me remind you, they have been together since 2015. This isn't a new couple. This isn't a new relationship. So now, almost 10 years after you've been in a relationship with Raven Symone, we're still getting this narrative of, I don't know who she is. I just don't watch it. When does it end? It's officially too much. And now the narrative has completely backfired on them. It has made Miranda completely unlikable. So now it's time to put a video out like this, chastising everybody. When all you have to do is simply A, leave your wife at home. Or B, if you're going to bring your wife around, chill out on the I don't know what you've done stuff. Relax on the I don't know who she was. Cosby? I've never watched the Cosby. We get it. You did not know who she was. But after being married to her for 10 years, you should be a little more acclimated to her work. And that's all anyone is really saying.
I understand that Raven Symone is trying to defend her wife, but that video she posted just made it so much worse. Like, it was cringe for one. Let's start there. The video was so cringe, that face she was making, like she was getting some straightening done, like she was scolding a kid. It was just giving very much, I'm using my acting skills. I'm putting my acting skills to work. Like, I don't know why she thinks that she is so hard. She is so masked. It was just very cringe and awkward. Now, do I think it's weird that people are messaging her wife, saying her death threats and all of that? Weird. But Raven Symone and her wife have to take some accountability. For one, your wife is giving Simone Biles' husband. She thinks she's surprised. She's going out of her way to try to make it seem like she didn't know who you were, or she didn't know your work. If I marry Raven Symone, if I marry a celebrity, even if I didn't know her work, I'm going to know it now. I'm watching everything. Okay, I'm going to be a proud wife. And I'm going to be like, remember when my wife was like, I'm going to be praising her for all the hard work she put in and all the childhood memories she gave us. But then it's like, you want to bring your wife everywhere. You want to bring her to every interview you do where she adds nothing to the conversation, and she just makes it awkward. when there's like trying to be Black conversations and she enters herself, she has like, again, she has nothing to add, she cannot relate. It's just very awkward, and you all have to take some type of responsibility because she does not need to go everywhere with you. You are allowed to be an individual even though you're in a relationship. And I get it, again, you want to support your wife and put her on, but I feel like if you keep trying to make this thing a package deal, people are gonna stop watching it because, again, she's cringe. She tries too hard. Like, she thinks she is the prize, and it's just, we don't want to see that.
Nobody likes Raven Symone's wife. And by nobody, I mean Black millennial women who grew up with Raven Symone as their Disney Channel icon. And the reasons are not unfounded. So let's start there, right? But there is more to this. Raven and her wife, Miranda, recently were on Fanita's podcast, Bottoms Up, right? In which there was just several moments that Fanita and Raven were having like a vibing, like, that's so Raven. They were having a vibe session, just a ultimate fangirl moment of the icon that Raven Symone is to young Black women. Because even if you exclude the Cosby years and some of her earlier work as a child star, That's So Raven and the Cheetah Girls were staples in your Black American household. There's no contest about that. But for some reason, it was never a staple. Even though the girl was watching the Disney Channel, Raven as a Black person was not a staple in Miranda's mind. And for all intents and purposes, I'm going to simplify that down to one thing. The lady is white. The lady is white and never fully saw Raven until she really needed to see Raven. Like many white and Black interactions, you are aware that the person is there, but they're not committing to your mind because they don't look like you. You don't relate to them. They're not really your character. This is evidenced by when she talks about watching the movie Xenon, in which Raven was like the second main character. She is drawing a blank. She can't even fathom that Raven was actually in this movie. It's wild. And while this might sound crazy to me and you as Black people, this is why Raven loves her. This is why she fell in love with this woman, because at the end of the day, Raven was a regular ass girl to this lady, and she got to be herself and not her personas. She didn't have to be her character. She didn't have to be anything that preceded her in this moment except for Raven Symone. Not Raven Baxter, not Galleria, none of that. Not Nebula, none of that. And something about that childhood acting life has not sat well in her spirit for so long that she tries to distance herself from it as much as possible. When that camera turns on, we see a happy-go-lucky girl acting her ass off and being great, funny, all these things. Remember, she's acting her ass off. Whatever trauma she's going through behind the scenes that she is not revealing to us in every moment is what we are not seeing, right? That's the stuff that she wants to distance herself from. So when she meets somebody like this, who is like, no idea, those are the people you want to connect with, because you're like, great, I get to write my own story and not be preceded by anything that has come before me. Y'all want her to stop bringing this lady around so bad, but this is the lady that grounds her. This is the lady that makes her feel human. And I'm happy for her for that. If this is your way of getting some form of like control in your life, girl, take that. Take exactly what you can get from that.